free speech is the alternative to violence. And there's lots of people who like violence and who are waiting for the opportunity to use it. And I'm hoping that we can talk our way out of it.
Are you currently afraid for your job?
Not particularly. I mean, I decided when I started this, look, lots of times in your life, you're choosing between things to be afraid of. In fact, you're always doing that in life. And I've known for a long time that if I was going to pick what to be afraid of, I was going to be afraid of not speaking rather than speaking. So, and I think, people have commented and did today too on my bravery, and that isn't really how I see it. I see that I'm taking the path of least resistance, and that's how frightened I am of the alternative. And it's real. There are ugly things brewing.
Okay. I just want to say one thing to the people who are yelling and screaming and trying to silence others. The opinion that is silenced, for all we know, could be the opinion that is true. And when you silence other people's opinions, no matter what those opinions are, even if you strongly disagree with those opinions, you could be silencing the truth.
I think it's ridiculous that should provoke the notion that we're a racist organization when we're standing for the home of free speech. Take a look around us. This is a multicultural movement. We have people from different races standing together for free speech, our right to expression. All of our brothers and sisters are staying together. We don't see race.
We live in a world where we can't talk about transgender issues, where we can't talk about white privilege, where we can't talk about issues of non-binary people, where we aren't allowed to talk about racism and all these things. That's fine. What I also heard was that Professor Peterson shouldn't be speaking at this university because he holds different opinions. Now, I was just going around to this crowd and talking to people, and I spoke to about two people that came here to support this event that said they were afraid to talk about their criticisms of the event, that they were afraid to speak up, that they were afraid to disagree with this event. Now, I think that a version of reality that was portrayed here initially is completely counter to what the reality actually is. Peterson expressed an opinion saying that he believes he should have to be forced to use transgender pronouns. Now, you may not agree with that opinion, and that's totally fine. Now he's got hordes of people asking for him to be fired, asking for him to
so for anybody watching this, the background is that Lauren, she's a non-social justice lawyer, but she actually legally went to a doctor and got her gender changed, so she, legally speaking, is transgender. That's the context behind all of this for anybody watching who doesn't know what's going on.
There are dozens of people surrounding here, and I've talked to them, that are afraid to speak up counter to this worldview that everything has to be progressive. And I think that is very wrong, and that a campus should be a place for a professor to be free to say he disagrees with transgender thought. That it should be a place for students to say they are free to disagree with progressive thought. The reality being portrayed here is completely counter to what is actually happening. And Peterson should absolutely have the right to disagree with you.
But I have to have a script, not in front of all these people. No way. I've done worse.
Too, do you not realize that? Trans people get killed. I am a social worker and I work with kids, and I've seen and worked with trans youth that have been murdered over and over, killed them.
All right. And
their own lives.
Yeah.
You're not listening.
No.
You're not listening. You're not taking the time to listen.
Okay. When can I just tell me when I'm allowed to speak?
Why is this a place that you would come and instigate?
Yeah.
This is a place where people are talking about serious issues of death.
I'm not even saying anything to that. I'm just sitting over here.
No, sweetheart. Don't even. No. Why is this your space? Okay.
We're having a conversation. We're having a conversation.
Why is this a space to do it? Why?
He came over to talk to me quietly. Why are you yelling at us?
Because you came up and you
Does this look like free speech? Doesn't it?
I don't even know what to say. It's just that
you tried.
I tried my best. I'm just.
Listen to us. Because we're the people.
I swear to God, that's.
You can't scream "listen" at us while he's trying to ask him questions.
I'm just gonna shut down, and we're gonna.
Okay. By the way, man, what are we Marxist communists?
For controlling a trans environment, it should be organized by trans people. So you turn around and
No, he was a featured guest. No, he was a featured guest.
I was just in there. He's not in there.
That doesn't mean he wasn't a featured guest. Could you actually accurately
I'm a
state?
featured guest at the Deplorable.
I know that you are. You're actually the only woman who's actually featured. Because guess what? It's a bunch of dudes. And I do not appreciate that.
Did you just call me a woman? I'm legally a man.
Are you?
Yes.
Do your viewers realize that?
Yes. I did a whole video on it.
You're legally a man?
I am legally a man.
Do you identify as a cis woman or a cis male or transgender?
I'm a man.
You're a man?
Yes.
Can I interject?
I'm surprised by that. My apologies. I never would have known that.
Cheers. All right, well, make sure to check people's pronouns first next time. I gotta get going. But have
I want to go talk to Peterson. Peterson, do you have any comments on the Nazi presence at your protest? The presence of Nazis and white supremacists assaulting people at your protest. Do you have any comment on that?
Yeah, I don't like Nazis.
Then why are you?
Why were they here?
Well, how can I answer
Are there views in alignment with yours?
At some point, you
I
have to
think
realize,
that's a foolish question. Look, if you want to know what my views are,
I've watched all of your videos. Yes.
including
Yes, I have.
then why would you ask such a question?
Because this is my interpretation of your videos.
Apparently,
That's not
all of the people who arranged the protest against you watched all of your videos.
It's like, do you want to disavow?
I have 150 videos on YouTube.
No, your lectures, which sparked the debate.
Okay.
Do you want to disavow the support?
Could you let me talk to her for a moment?
Don't call me that, please.
So, I have 150 lectures on YouTube. There's 500 hours of my views.
Do you really
If
think that
wanna
you're
find
worth
out
all
what
of
they
that
were-
time?
So look, I will answer your question, okay? I've studied Nazism for a very long time. It's been 4 decades, and I understand it very well. And I can tell you that there's some awful people lurking in the corners, and they're ready to come out. And if the radical left keeps pushing the way
That
it's
sounds
pushing,
very much like a
they're
threat.
going to come.
That sounds very
That's
much
not
like a
a
threat.
threat.
That sounds very much like a threat. Would you like to disavow the physical violence? Trans people were physically assaulted at this rally in your name. Would you like to disavow that violence?
Yes.
So you wish that didn't happen, and you want to.
Absolutely.
And I'm going to post this online that you would like people to not to be more accommodating of trans people and people of color at your events in future.
I would
I'm
like
a person
there
of
to
color.
be no
Listen,
violence.
I'm a person of color, and I felt very accommodating here. I felt like my voice. Thank you very much.
I'm also a former Muslim, and I feel like this guy is
I'm
the
a person
best.
of color.
I
There are
love
many
his
Muslims
videos.
of
You
color.
wanted to
Agree
disavow.
then.
You wanted to disavow, and this is the disavowal. I am not an advocate of violence. I'm speaking out the way I'm speaking out because I think this is a route to no violence. And violence is lurking. And you can say that that sounds like a threat.
There was
It's
no
not a
violence at
threat.
our protest, though. There was violence at your protest. So what does that say about our views?
It's not my
That's
protest.
violence.
You know,
I
asking me continually freighted questions isn't very helpful if you
riot,
actually want to
that's
have a
all
dialogue. You have no idea if I'm your enemy. You have no idea about me.
You
know
won't use my
nothing about me.
pronouns, so I'm pretty sure you're my enemy. Yes.
Yeah, well, I know you think that, but I don't believe that using your pronouns is going to do you any good in the long run. I think it'll do quite the contrary.
What?
Is that your medical
Like,
opinion?
what, is that your medical opinion? Like, you
I'm
are
not a
aware that
doctor.
non-binary people are valid in the American
isn't
Psychological
about
Association.
non-binary
Is that your opinion?
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
It's about non-binary pronouns.
No, it's not.
Yeah,
No, it's not.
I'm saying that that's
Did
what
you
I'm
come to the
about.
rally? Were you there when I spoke?
I've been here for this whole thing.
Okay, well, I don't know that. It's a genuine question. Look, I think that's what's happening is that we're pushing over a line we shouldn't cross. The newest legislation is requiring people to use.
But you are aware that that's being put in place so that we can't get fired. We need to be written into the Canada human rights legislation, or we can be fired for our gender identity.
I'm not aware of that.
Well, then why'd you make a fucking video about it? I've been denied housing as a trans person. These rights would protect me.
Denied housing?
I've been denied housing.
From the state or for the open market? So have you been denied housing, like, from the government?
It's illegal
From
either
the
way
government?
if we had
From the
human
government?
rights.
From the government?
I'm not-
Or have you tried to get a house like everybody else and they said, no, you're weird, you can't work? No, if the state has done that, that's a problem.
they said-
but if someone doesn't want to live with you, that's their right.
They
Not a materialist anymore. I don't think the world's made out of matter. I think it's made out of what matters.
Smoke weed every day. Smoke weed every day. The night I raise my hand to the fire, but it's no use, 'cause you can't stop it from shining through. It's true, baby, let the light shine through.